Hello and welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and the Honorable Judge is now taking the stand. I fucking forgot what I was going to say there, so that's my bad. Oh wait, yeah, the Honorable Judge Sage is now residing. This this is my weekly dive into r/AITA. Obviously stands for Am I the Award-Winning Journalist? Where we are going to each floor look at a different Am I the Asshole post and just have some fun with it. This typically gets me 3 stories. I have yet to go over that, but I mean, this is what, my 3rd time doing this, so I hardly think that that's a fair comparison. Now, the other thing to remember about this is that I typically don't run retro floor plan while I'm doing this, because if I'm trying to make commentary on something like this, I've already got enough on my plate. Let's see. I think we're going to try to do a fun combo build using Blazing Vault. And then, what do I use here? I could use Blazing Lariat. Yeah, I could also use Shock Nova or Volt Pinball. Those would probably be wiser choices. Or Shock Assault. I want something that hits in kind of a circle, or at least has a wide area of effect. Like the Crystalline Ballester is one of my favorites. Oh, Terra Ring. Hang on, I think we've got something here. All right, let's look. This is melee, that's melee, okay. Then this is just Happy Time Dash Juice. Alright, I think we are going to put on our yellow robes today. I try to stay away from the Awe robe because it's obviously the kind of popular choice. But I'll be damned if it doesn't fit what I'm doing here. And any elemental enemy can appear on any stage. But I gain resistance to all of those elements. It's fun. I like doing it. There we go. And I don't really care where we start, so let's go. Alright, so we start with Shu at the Sky Palace. We go meet with Zeal in her forge, and lastly we end up going to the Thundering Palace. I wanted to say the Thundering Plains, but that's a completely different game. This seems like a good time to get into our first post, and I've curated the first 2. The 3rd one I am going to come back to. Or try to I'll find something. I have plenty of time. Interesting. Okay, so our first story is being brought to us by... Interesting, they could have just said throwaway and a bunch of numbers, but it said Throw No Reveal 1. And the story is titled, Am I the Asshole for Refusing to Tell My Husband the Gender of Our Baby After He Skipped Going to the Doctor's Appointment with Me? So, some of you may have already read or heard this story being narrated on a different channel, but I really like this story, and trust me, it's not because I agree with the woman's husband. Here we go. My husband and I are expecting. This is our first baby and we're excited, as one probably should be. Thing is, he barely attends any doctor's appointments with me and his excuses aren't even valid. He's willing to miss the doctor's appointment over soccer or a drink or board games with friends. His response is always, I'm not the one carrying the baby, why do I have to go see the doctor with you? I'll comment on that later. Last week was my final straw. He was supposed to come with me for the baby's gender reveal appointment, but he chose not to come last minute because his friend invited him to fish and chips. fish and chips. I was pretty livid, but didn't make a fuss about it. Mom went with me instead. He texted asking me to tell him the results, if it's a boy or a girl. But I refused to tell him. He kept spam calling me, but I hung up each time. He came home fuming, demanding I tell him the results, but I refused and bluntly told him, since he refused to attend the appointment, that he gets no results till after the baby's born, and said I was willing to die on this hill. He went off calling me spiteful and immature for doing this and punishing him. He said he's the father and he has a right to know. He then called me dramatic since I wasn't alone and Mom was with me. I said he gets no results. Period. He's been fuming about it and told his family, and they're now pressuring me to stop playing mind games with him and tell him, but I declined. Am I the asshole? Now, there is an edit, but I'm going to save that edit until probably after I beat Shu. I mean, let's be fair. There's with there being an edit, there's. God damn! I almost got game over on the first room. This is embarrassing. Okay, I'm tired of this fucker. Look at that! Lost almost half my health in one room. God, talk about embarrassing. Alright, so, is OP the asshole? No, not even by a long shot. Oh my god, this woman's husband sounds fucking insufferable. Like, you think you're entitled to know something just because you're the baby's father? Like, let's be fair, yeah, you probably should know. But, I mean, if you want to make a big deal about that, maybe attend the doctor's appointments? She's asking you because, not because she's being a pain, because she wants you to give a shit. Which you clearly don't because, fish and chips with the boys is obviously more important. There we go. Do we get a good freebie? I mean, actually, yeah, I've got freaking Dark Katana. Of course it's a good freebie. Alright, I could probably use some sort of ranged control at this point. But, seriously, you're gonna prioritize... The guy's gonna prioritize board games, fish and chips, watching a soccer match, or I guess the rest of the world calls it football, and you know what? The frank fact of the matter is they're right. Now, I know the rest of the world probably thinks that goes against the old American roots so hard that my skeleton wants to jump out of my skin. But no, I agree with the rest of the world. What they have is football. What we have is almost akin just to violence on television. So you could say that about a lot of sports, but I digress. That's not really the point. Is there anything here I want? What is this? Hermione the Collector. I don't really need to see him right now. For each movement arcana? Alright, hang on. Before I decide how to spend what limited money I have... Nah, I'm good, dog. I'm just curious as to why you would even begin to think you're the asshole for this. Your husband is a shit. Is it because your in-laws are pressuring you? Is it because, you know, you married the guy, so you must feel some kind of way about this? Look, it's not that I don't understand, I just think you're not giving yourself enough credit. And I suppose that would bring us up to the update. We'll read that out real quick. Hi, so first of all, wow, I did not expect this to blow up. Sorry, can't answer any comments because of feeling overwhelmed. I just wanted to mention that my husband just attempted to contact my doctor to get the results. It didn't go well and we had another argument over it. He couldn't get it since his mom was the one who made the call. Yes, and it's absolutely ridiculous that that's the case. You know, you prioritize fish and chips over being supportive of your wife and knowing the gender of your child. What did you expect was going to happen? Like, that just blows my mind how some people can be so self-centered and then think that somehow or another everything is supposed to, come back in your favor because... What? Because you're the father? Because... What, you think you're big and manly and everyone has to kowtow to you? I mean, that's reading an awful lot into things. I don't think that's in any way the case of what's going on here. It's just... I don't understand why a soccer match or board games or fucking fish and chips is more important than being supportive of your pregnant wife. I mean, you made that decision, and apparently you're excited about it, but not enough so to actually be supportive. But if that's the case, then maybe stop prioritizing stupid shit and get in there and be supportive of the woman that you chose to make pregnant. That's what I don't understand. Is this is a choice that you've made. You made the decision to have a child with this woman, and now you're acting like, oh, who really cares? Like, is having a child just all fun and games to you? Like, I don't get it. And that's not to say that everything necessarily needs to be super serial or anything, but this is one situation where, yeah, maybe you should stop acting as though someone owes you something, and get in there and try to at least pretend to be a decent person. Like, I don't think that's asking too much, but then again, I'm also a little weird. And I suppose I should clarify when I say that you don't need to take everything super seriously. I'm not necessarily saying this. I mean, it's good to go through life with a sense of calm, calm demeanor and a sense of humor. But there are some things that do demand your attention. And I would say this is definitely one of them. See, I believe this also goes into the realm of play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Like, you want to play this silly priority game, then yeah, don't be surprised when people look at you and go, dude, whatever. Like, seriously, if you're gonna prioritize fish and chips over supporting your wife and knowing the gender of your firstborn child, then yeah, you're gonna be made to look like a joke on, well, Not just the internet, but in life. So yeah, my suggestion there is your man needs to get over himself, and he needs to understand that if he doesn't want to be treated like an absolute dick, then he needs to stop treating other people like an absolute dick. Oh, I got the Crush Colossus before I got you. That's weird. Alright, is there anything else I want? Not really. Even though it would be nice to have the Erupting Cannonade, it's not important. So feel free to share your opinions on what you think there, but I mean, this is a pretty cut and dry, not the asshole. Well, that was awful. That was not smart of me. Alright, not the best Wind Sovereign Shu fight I've ever had, but not horrible either. Just kind of somewhere in the middle. Alright, we have now entered Zeal's Forge, and also brought ourselves to our next story. Our next story, brought to us by Throw Our Husband 2, is entitled, Am I the Asshole for Telling My Parents That They Ruined New Year's Celebration After They Kicked Out My Husband Over a Joke? Alright, the story, as well as a nice little premature showing of bubble slaps. I've been married to my second husband, Mike, for 4 years now. He's a jokester and loves to crack jokes all the time. Sounds like me. He especially likes to joke with my brother Ethan and his wife. I said Ethan like that because it's obviously in quotes, so is Mike. Names are being changed for privacy's sake. Anyway, Ethan used to be okay with it till he started complaining about Mike taking it too far with his jokes. Some context about Ethan. He and his wife couldn't have kids, so they adopted a boy, Joey, 2 years ago. Mike has been making silly, lighthearted jokes that involve Joey's biological parents as a way to mess with Ethan and his wife. I already talked to Mike, and I tell you that he 100% means no harm, and he was just trying to get them to react. Boy, is that some foreshadowing, perhaps? So fast forward to New Year's Eve. My parents hosted a big celebratory dinner, and Ethan and his wife came. While we were eating dinner, Mike decided to tell a knock-knock joke to Ethan. He said, "Knock knock." Ethan laughed and said, "Who's there?" Mike replied, "Joey's bio parents." Then he bursted out laughing. I mean, if that doesn't scream out poor taste, I don't know what does. Silence took over, and Ethan's facial expressions changed. His wife called Mike an idiot, to which Mike replied, "Hey, relax, it was just a joke." An argument ensued, and dinner was paused. My parents suddenly told Mike to leave, which I thought was too harsh. Really? I tried to speak to them and get them to calm down, but Mom insisted that Mike had to leave. We left, and Mike was complaining the whole time about how they overreacted. I called Mom later, and she told me Mike was out of line with his hurtful jokes about this touchy topic, and told me I was wrong for defending him and saying he was just joking. She said he ruined New Year's for the family, but I told her it was her and Dad who ruined New Year's celebration for escalating the situation and kicking him out. I told her he could talk to them, but again, they were the ones who ruined New Year's celebration. She called me delusional for this statement and hung up. We haven't talked to them for days. I tried contacting Ethan, but no response. How many times have I seen in stories like this the phrase, "Oh, come on, it's just a joke," when someone says or does something ultra shitty? Guys, I think we need to make sure that we're understanding the definition of the word joke. Now, usually when you tell a joke, it tends to make people in the room laugh. And that's kind of the definition of a joke. It's supposed to be intended for the sake of humor, mirth, things like that. But if you're telling jokes like this, first of all, just on the sake of, comedy and what sorts of jokes one should and shouldn't be telling, the obvious thing there is to read the room. Not that that's the most important salient point. But, I mean, a joke like that could theoretically work if you weren't telling it to the people who were... Hold on, I gotta shift in my chair. Who are obviously the most affected by this. But that's hardly the overall point here. Hardly the most salient. What is that Mike seems to have this very degrading sense of humor. And to be fair, oftentimes comedy is directed in such a way that someone is, the butt of a joke. Sometimes comedy can be a little hurtful. I understand that. That's why when you tell jokes that are supposed to be making fun of yourself, they're called self-deprecating, not self-aggrandizing. But the reason why people like to do that is because I'm not even going to say you're not supposed to make fun of other people when you tell jokes, because that's not even entirely true. You just don't necessarily want to do that to some... I'm not getting my point across here properly, and I think that's fine, because I think ultimately that's... Again, none of that is the point. The point is, Mike is a dick. Mike, for whatever reason, has decided he's going to make it his mission to use his humor to hurt people. I don't know why he wants to do that. And even if you say he 100% means no harm, that doesn't mean harm isn't being done, lady. I get it, this is your husband, and you want to stand by your husband for better or for worse. For richer or poorer, sickness and in health. For so long as you both shall live till death do you part. I get that. But it doesn't mean you're not being delusional. You are absolutely being delusional here, honey. There's really no two ways about it. And just looking at it from a different point of view for just a minute, why are we making fun of Joey's biological parents? Did you stop for a second to think that maybe his biological parents put him up for adoption not because they didn't want him, and the joke isn't necessarily he's not wanted, blah, 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 blah. No, random humor value, aren't they so funny, guys? Maybe, just maybe, there is some underlying reason why they couldn't keep Joey. Maybe the problem is that the parents felt they couldn't give Joey the life he deserved. And it's very possible that's what was going on. It's also possible that there were potential health reasons, potential financial reasons. There's all sorts of reasons to give a child up for adoption. But I think it's really cold to say that the reason is lol, they didn't want him. And let's be fair, that might even not necessarily be what he's saying. But it doesn't matter what he's saying. You intentionally went out of your way to hurt someone with your comments, and that's the part that I think everyone has an issue with. I mean, let's be fair, I love jokes. I really do. But jokes need to be funny. The punchline can't just be, I'm a shithead. And when I say that, I mean it can't just literally be you acting like a shithead. The joke can be you're calling yourself a shithead, but, you know, actually acting that out, probably not what's gonna get you very far here, bro. Yes, I could have waited to pick up one of those to see if Dr. Song or Nocturne were gonna show up, but oh well. Bottom line is, whoever Mike is, he fails at comedy and kind of fails at life too, if I'm being honest. Because the moment you start justifying your terrible decision making and ideas by saying, "Oh, it's just a joke, can't you take a joke?" I'm done. The moment you start doing that is when you essentially told people that you're a terrible person. Ow. And honestly, if he's such a jokester, then hey, maybe study comedy, because that knock-knock joke you called didn't even have a punchline. Also, why do you want to give people a hard time for adopting a kid? What is wrong with that? Like, not especially with the knowledge that they've been trying to have a child and just haven't been able to. What is the reasoning exactly for making fun of someone for that? Like, I don't understand. Like, it's such a weird thing to decide that that's what you want to make jokes about. Like, what do you get from that? I mean, aside from an entire family gathering ruined and, you know, your wife being made to look like a fool for defending your fool ass. So I guess in my mind, I'm looking at this going, remind me again why we should be defending this guy? Like, no, OP is definitely the asshole. You very much burned that bridge, hon. Well, that's not fair. I shouldn't say that she's burned the bridge. It's possible that you might be able to recover from this, but you definitely need to you definitely need to take a minute to have a moment of introspection. Look in the mirror and understand why people are mad with you. Oh, okay. Apparently, I can slide with that move if I use a movement arcana beforehand. Yeah, I don't really want that. I mean, just making fun of someone's inability to have children. Like, I get that the dig was at Joey's biological parents, but that doesn't make what you said okay, man. So yeah, OP, think about what you're doing. Maybe back off a minute and yeah, back off a minute and think a little bit harder about what exactly it is you're trying to defend here. And there's no way I'm necessarily suggesting divorce, but maybe suggest that he tone down his insensitive sense of humor. Because I get making fun of people. It's all good, but why make fun of the people who are doing the right thing here? Makes no sense. Alright, now our third story. I'm not sure which one I want to do. Well, so long as we're talking about shitty husbands, this is a story that I heard not so long ago. So let's go ahead and do this one. This comes to us from Sally's Salon 111. It's titled, "Am I the asshole for getting up from my chair in the middle of Christmas dinner and shouting, 'Shut the fuck up about my body,' in response to my husband's observation?" Also, I want to point out real quick that a lot of Reddit narrators are having problems reading these posts because apparently Google is having a fun time crackdown on language. Apparently because Susan is just a giant baby herself. I'm not going to calm down my language, and I welcome them to try to demonetize a channel that's never been monetized in the first place, so kiss my ass. Anyway, that's my own little rant, now let's go. So, ever since I had my son months ago, my husband has started making indirect comments about my body. He never says any hurtful words, but I find his observations, as he calls it, hurtful. For example, he'd see me wearing an old top and say, "Oh, that top used to look good on you, but not anymore though." Wait, when you say he didn't say any hurtful words, do you mean he didn't say that you were ugly? Or are you saying that he didn't use any cursing? Because, to me, those are some hurtful motherfucking words. Anyway, or when he looks at my waist and says, "Wow, didn't know your waist could get this wide." No, that's fucking hurtful. Fuck this dude. Basically, passive stuff that I tried to ignore till it extended to friends and family. FYI, this went on for months and months and months. We went to Christmas celebration at his family's home. My sister-in-law complimented my floral maxi dress, and my husband said, "I agree, it looks nice on you. Though I have to admit that your waist could get smaller than this." What the fuck? Awkward silence took over. I was absolutely fuming, and this was my last straw. Your last straw should have been months ago, honey. So I got up from my chair in the middle of dinner and shouted at the top of my lungs, "Shut the fuck up about my body!" He was absolutely speechless as his family stared while some others tried to get me to calm down, but the situation got more tense, and dinner ended up being cut short and my husband stormed off to his friend's place to spend the night upon leaving a very nasty text saying I embarrassed him and made a scene over an observation he made. He called me childish, hot calling the kettle black, and told me to get therapy for my insecurities instead of verbally abusing him and scaring his family. Now I feel like an absolute idiot asshole, you shouldn't, and like I ruined Christmas for him and everybody over my sensitivity. Am I the asshole? No! No, you're not! Oh my god, like, the whole time I was, like, I'd heard that one. And, you know, when you hear it from another narrator, it's like, okay, well, it obviously sounds bad, make no mistake, but then when I'm reading it for myself, I'm just sitting there going, why are you posting this? Like, it almost feels like a troll post. Like, that's how Saturday morning cartoon villainy the husband seems here. And there's no way I'm saying it is a troll post. Like, for all we know, it might be, but that's not the point. The point is, if this guy actually is saying these things to his wife, then what were you expecting? She just gave birth. Like, let's put it another way. Would you like to pass the equivalent of a... I might grab that, I'm not sure. Would you like to pass the equivalent of a goddamn watermelon through your colon? Let alone an opening that's not even necessarily that big? Like, do you know what kind of an effect pregnancy has on a woman's body? I mean, you must. You married a woman. Like, I don't know what... Oh my god, I just realized that there are nitroglycerin barrels in every corner of this room. Alright, truth be told, I'd never seen that room before, so, hey, found something new. Smooth me. God damn it. You're gonna avoid my tax by listing lazily to the left? Come on. And if anyone should have an insecurity, it's me about how effortlessly that attack got dodged. Now, I know one of the points that was brought up in one of the narrations, in one of the, like, from one of the storytellers that I've watched about that story, is that maybe Opie could have been more tactful. If this has been happening for months, that was a breaking point. That's what that was. Like, I get the feeling this isn't a person who's insecure about their body. This is a person that's being demeaned at every turn by a cruel, childish bastard who doesn't seem to understand that you aren't entitled to a woman that has the body of a supermodel. Like, are you actively trying to say that, you know, you want your wife to, exercise and eat healthy because... Like, and I'm stretching here, this is more of an example thing. I don't think the guy actually said this, but if he did, I mean, it fits the Saturday morning cartoon villain vibe. But, yeah, are you saying that you want your wife to get healthy, not for her own sake, but because you want her to just, you know, have something pretty for you to look at? Like, this is... Like, I'm not just gonna go out and scream misogynist, but, God, it sure feels like it. And hey, maybe the guy is a straight up, you know, minge-gurgling misogynist. Honestly, wouldn't surprise me much. Alright, so I gotta think. Are there any other red portal? I mean, by all rights, I could get Nox, but I'm thinking it's very unlikely at this point, so... Let's also take advantage of cheap potions. Like, I don't get it. Where do some guys get off saying things like this? I really don't get it. Like, do you think it's supposed to have a positive effect on someone saying things like that? Like, maybe someone clarify for me in the comments. What makes someone think it's okay to say things like that? Like, I honestly think the whole reason why she's saying he's not using any hurtful words is because she's trying to spare him some embarrassment. Like, does he really deserve it, though? Does he really? Thank you, Doctor. Okay, you're pissing me off. So obviously, OP is not the asshole here. What we have here is a weirdly delusional and insecure man-child who doesn't seem to understand that... when someone does something as traumatic like, you know, birth another life into this world, things are gonna happen to them that aren't necessarily flattering. And instead of being supportive about it, we have, as I had said earlier, just a complete douchebag of a husband who just wants to rag on his wife instead of trying to be supportive. I don't need anything from here. Fill out the map just because. Like, is he supposed to be leveling a gotcha moment? Is he trying to say, oh, honey, I think you need to exercise more? Like, I don't really understand what this dude thought was going to happen when he brought that up in front of his family, no less. So of course it's going to be a little... Of course they're going to be doubtful of her. Ugh. Seriously, people like that just bother the hell out of me. I don't understand where any of these ideas come from. Yeah, there's nothing there I want. Onwards. For what it's worth, she does at least recognize that even if the words aren't necessarily hurtful, the commentary is. Now, how much do you want to bet that our man here probably is probably labeling this under what, just gentle ribbing, probably? Now, I use Blazing Lariat all the time, so let's go ahead and switch back to that. Ow! Oh, I hit the wrong button, I'm dumb. Okay, I want that. Then I want that. And what? No, I think that's good. I saw Aqua Vortex there and I was like, I have a chance for some heavy combos, but nah. So, let me know what you guys think of the 3 stories on display here. I definitely put the bad husbands of stories 2 and 3 on blast, because why did you get married if you weren't going to be supportive of your spouses? Alright, getting my ass kicked. So, those are today's cases. The honorable Judge Me will now step down after beating Sura. And yes, I know I'm kind of being a little affected by hubris here, but I mean, I see no reason why I wouldn't do this thing. Owie. There we go. And that's the end. Another successful run, and another 3 judgments laid down. Honestly, though, if you guys are liking the content, by all means, please let me know. I enjoy doing this. I like reading "Am I the Asshole" posts, and if you guys are enjoying it, I will keep doing it. For now, I will say thank you very much for continuing to watch and support. I really do appreciate it. I would continue to say, if you really like the content, share it with other people. You know, do the things that make YouTube know that you like my stuff. And I will be back in the near future with more stuff for you. I am continuing to practice Dead Cells, by the way, so don't take my last Dead Cells post as a I'm done with this. It's just, I'm just getting frustrated and wanted to air it out a bit, so that's all on that. So, again, thank you guys very much, and I'm going to go ahead and step down from the podium. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and I will be seeing